Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport, and this one has some cool options that I think make it a great, affordable off-roader. Before we get in this video though, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Doug Smith Dodge Ram Jeep Cresta here in American Fork, Utah for me some time with this Wrangler. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently, and then if you have any questions, just ask for Colby. On a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 270 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, very simplistic with the design. You can tell Wrangler from that, and then same thing with the front grille. This doesn't have the crazy new grille that's on like a Rubicon, for example, but still has the iconic Wrangler appearance. And you guys can see stuff like the turn signal indicator, and then notice with the fog light action here, and then you just have the standard bumper, but it does have recovery points. And so when you put it all together, well, it looks like a Wrangler from the front. Now, this is my favorite part about this Wrangler is the tire and wheel setup. 245, 75, 17 in the front and over in the rear. Not the widest tires on the planet, but they've got quite a bit of sidewall, again, 75 for that rating. And then you guys can see here, all-terrain tires. And so, I mean, this is just great for most off-road conditions that people would take this in. And it's a Wrangler, so it still has a solid front and a solid rear axle. And when you put it all together, looking at it from the side, with those all-terrain tires, it has a pretty cool look. And for those of you wondering, it does have an all-terrain tire here on the rear as well. And speaking of rear, look at that, looks cool. Now, being a Sport, it's more basic with the interior, so it's like hard touch here at the top, but you actually have some padding where you're gonna rest your arm. And then we do have the cloth seats, which I think these actually look really premium for a base cloth seat. And then this one's a 4-door, so you've got tons of space here in the back, and then also you've got more space in the cargo area as well. And then up front, that basic easy to clean design continues with the material use, and then we still have the cloth seats here in the front. But hey, they look fancy. They're manually adjustable, and then you still get the cool little depiction here with the Wrangler and the Gladiator. Now, despite the fact that this is a Sport, so it's more baseline Wrangler, it still has a really nice steering wheel. You can see the contrasted stitching that kind of adds some pizzazz. You have radio controls in the back of the steering wheel. It's got adaptive cruise control. You've got the Wrangler's signature gauge cluster here in the center as well. And then you've got the new infotainment system. Now, it does only have a backup camera. As you can see, no forward-facing camera. But still, I mean, this is a huge infotainment system. And you guys can see this even happens to have dual-zone climate, heated seats, and a heated steering wheel. I mean, tons of luxury features. And you can see a bunch of analog controls for what I just mentioned down below, including stuff like off-road cruise control. And you got all your window controls in the center and some charging ports. And then this is a Wrangler at the end of the day, so it has 4-wheel drive. You've got 2-wheel high. The sun's kind of blocking the rest of it. But you have 4-wheel high, neutral, and 4-wheel low. And then you got your shifter for that 8-speed automatic. Got your normal storage here in this little area. And then the normal Wrangler glove box. And then also look at this on the dash. Again, for a more baseline package, still looks nice. And this one also happens to have the top insulation, which definitely helps out with sound deadening. And this brings us to the window sticker before we take this out and drive this. $35,895 is the base MSRP, and here's the equipment you get. Now you guys can see this says the 22S package, so the Sport S package, hence Sport S, which does add some luxury features. You also have the convenience group, which is $2,000, but more luxury features basically. And then you've got stuff like the automatic transmission, $2,500. So if you know how to drive manual, you'll save yourself $2,500. You got the hard top, but the biggest thing is these all-terrain tires. They're only $495. $495. It makes this way cooler looking and way more capable off-road. Don't cheap out. Get the all-terrain tires. Total MSRP $49,065. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let us set off in this affordable Wrangler. And by the way, if you guys see any vehicles like in their lineup that you want me to do reviews on in the future, as I like, you know, in the background or as I'm driving through their lot, let me know. I'm live somewhat close to this dealership, so I can be here on a regular basis if you guys have anything that you want to see review wise. But anyways, focusing on this Sport, I really like this package. I think this is really cool. Ooh, $392. 20th anniversary edition, $392. That sounds like something that I might need to review, because that's pretty cool. But man, I get distracted so easy. It's so bad. As I was saying, I really like this package. So first off, with the Sport S to be more specific, it adds quite a bit of luxury to this. So again, really nice seats here, and the base Wrangler seats now are super comfortable. I think they've done a good job with this. I just like this new cloth. It still feels durable, but it also kind of, I don't know, it has a little bit of a plushness to it. And then you got stuff like the dual zone climate and everything, and this still has the normal Wrangler stuff with it. So I got like the off-road pages too. 4,500 feet elevation here, getting pretty high up there. I guess we'll see how the Turbo 2.0 with these all-terrain tires performs at this elevation. But the point that I'm trying to make is, even though this is a more baseline car, it still comes with quite a bit of, you know, tech and features. And this now leads us into actually getting up and moving. By the way, love the damping even with the Sport. Now this has the 24 Wrangler changes, so you guys probably noticed the antenna in the windshield, which is one of the changes. And it does help out in the top insulation. I'm interested to see how this drives on the highway. I drove 2 Wranglers yesterday, and so it'll be interesting to see kind of how this compares on the highway to those sound-wise and everything. But like around town at least, I mean, you still can tell that this is a little bit like noisier and less insulated compared to like most, like a crossover like that Mazda CX-5. But it does a really good job now. Like this doesn't feel as toy-like as the Wrangler had in the past. So I think that's a big plus. Torque's really good at this 2.0. And the big benefit of having all-terrain tires like this is obviously they're capable, but like they're not going to get in the way too much of acceleration or fuel economy either, because they're not huge, which is great. And let's see what the torque's like. Woo! This thing moves. Obviously that's downhill, so like take that with a grain of salt, but I mean it's so good. I drove the V6 yesterday, Extreme Recon, obviously 35s, but it had upgraded axle ratio. And this just feels so much, the 2.0 just feels so much stronger than the V6 at elevation. Again, 4,500 feet here. So, yeah, definitely interesting. But, yeah, let's kind of get into summing things up here with this Sport. And on the highway, pretty quiet, actually. Yeah, I don't really see a downside. Like the Extreme Recon and the Rubicon, they had some more noise on the highway than this. So this is actually more luxurious than a Rubicon because you don't get as much tire noise. You're not as high up because it's not as lifted. So you don't get as much wind buffeting either. It does make a difference. But yeah, I think this looks cool on the outside. Again, it still looks like a Wrangler at the end of the day. Wranglers are still, I mean, it's a Wrangler, right? It's cool. I like this new interior layout for the most part. I'm still not sold on this new infotainment screen, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I think the old one was fine. I don't think that, I don't know. I understand why they changed it, but I don't really think it was necessary. I guess this acceleration will be uphill, so that'll be a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, like, I'm starting to like the new 24 Wrangler more and more as time goes on. But let's, woo! Good torque, good gravy. Yeah, the 2.0 turbo, man. So yeah, you know, this is obviously, you know, a lot of people are like $50,000, that's ridiculous. I understand where you're coming from, but in today's world where everything is mega expensive, this, with the capability and everything it has, it's more on the reasonable side. But still, let me know your thoughts on this Wrangler Sport. And do you think this is the Wrangler sweet spot in terms of the options and everything that it has outside of the pricing?